Welcome to Fertility Friendly Food, the podcast. My name is Stephanie Vlakis and I'm an expert certified fertility dietitian and nutritionist and founder of The Dietologist, a multiple award-winning virtual fertility and pregnancy nutrition clinic serving thousands from around the world, and of course, the host of this pod, Fertility Friendly Food. This podcast is dedicated to all things health and nutrition in the world of fertility, reproductive health, and pregnancy. Each week, I bring you practical snack-sized episodes to help improve your lifestyle on your trying to conceive journey, alongside guest expert interviews to help inspire you to learn and grow whilst you grow your family. Hey everyone, this is not your regular episode. If you tuned into our last episode, 118, you'd know it was one of the last of season 4 of our 2023 season of Fertility Friendly Food. Now, I started this podcast in 2020 because honestly, nobody else was talking about fertility, pregnancy, and reproductive health and nutrition, specifically in a podcast format. And I really wanted to bring to life some of the incredibly well-researched articles from our website and blog and give them a broader platform and pop them into a podcast format. And more than 3 years later, we have expanded far beyond that and recorded well over 120 episodes, producing weekly episodes for 8 to 9 month-long seasons each year after our pilot season of 10 episodes back in 2020 were so well received. We've reached hundreds of countries around the world, topped the charts in Australia and Nigeria, Malta and Hong Kong at various times, and have connected with so many incredible guests, listeners, and of course our real-life fertility story sharers who so bravely came on this season to share their stories. For full transparency, running a podcast is really time-consuming and somewhat expensive. It takes time to prepare questions for guests, content for solo episodes, book in meetings with people to get them onto your recording schedule, softwares to record and publish the podcasts, editing them, social media promotion, pitching brands for sponsorships to keep the podcast alive, and more. All costs a lot of time, energy, and money. This year, my goal was really to secure some more sponsors for the podcast to justify the ongoing running costs of the podcast. And whilst we were able to get a few on board, which we were super grateful for, it just hasn't been enough to keep the lights on for the podcast moving forward. So it is with a really heavy heart that I hang up the podcast microphone and Fertility Friendly Food, the podcast, for the time being. I know, I can hear your gasps from here. I know, I never thought I would stop this podcast for anything, but the reality is that as a business owner, I have to be really clever about how I use my resources, and headed into 2024 without an ongoing sponsorship opportunity, we simply can't continue. But we will be keeping all the existing podcast episodes available to you to listen to, re-listen to. There are 120 plus episodes to go back and listen. I know so many of you are such loyal listeners. You've listened to every single one already. So thank you so much for your loyalty. And who knows, one day I may just grab the mic again and share some more insights in the future. But it isn't a promise that I can make for the time being. If you are listening to this and you are somebody who works for a company that may like to sponsor our podcast, please reach out. I'm definitely all ears. Our email is hello@thedietologist.com.au. To those who listen to one episode or all of them, to those who left a rating and review, shared it on your socials or with a family member, friend, partner, colleague, thank you so much. You helped to grow this podcast to reach thousands of people around the world and hundreds of thousands of downloads. I appreciate you all more than I can really put into words. And for the time being, it is goodbye for Fertility Friendly Food podcast. The Dietologist, though, is still here to support you online via one-on-one nutrition consultations for fertility, reproductive health and pregnancy. The links are in the show notes on how to best connect with us to chat about working together from wherever you are in the world. And until next time, everyone, whenever that is, goodbye.
Just quickly, are you currently trying to conceive or are you on a fertility journey? If so, you can feel like there are 101 things you could or should be doing when it comes to your preconception or fertility health. It's easy to get overwhelmed really quickly. This is exactly why we created our preconception lifestyle checklist. It's one page for you and one page for your partner, categorized into supplements, diet, lifestyle, and environmental factors, and we focus on the low-hanging fruit. These are simple but effective strategies known to help improve your health and well-being for fertility and also for a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby too. Over 5,000 people have downloaded it already. Do you want your free copy too? Head to the link in the show notes now to swipe your free checklist. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Fertility Friendly Food, the podcast, acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises the continuing connections to lands, waters and community. We pay our respects to First Nation cultures and to the elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all First Nations people tuning in today. This podcast is recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.